It all began on a perfectly ordinary morning. The sun stretched its golden arms through the curtains. Birds chirped like a badly tuned orchestra outside the window, and Big Fat Orange Cat lay sprawled across the kitchen floor like a melted cheese. Pizza! He was snoring like a bulldozer idling on a pile of marshmallows. Life was good, or so he thought. His whiskers twitched. A strange chill danced across the fur on his belly. Something was wrong. With a grunt that sounded like a balloon, deflating in slow motion, he rolled over, opened one eye, and stared directly at the source of all joy and meaning in his life. The snack bowl. Empty. Not half-full. Not slightly full. Completely, catastrophically, devastatingly empty. He blinked then, he blinked again. He even licked the air, to make sure he wasn't dreaming. Nope, still real. Still awful. The snack bowl, which last night had been piled high with crunchy tuna stars and cheesy fish bits, now sat barren, as naked as a baby mole. Big Fat Cat sat up like a hairy dumpling suddenly possessed. His ears perked, his tail twitched, like an angry spaghetti noodle. He sniffed the bowl. Nothing. No scent, no crumbs. Not even a whisper of flavor. Meow, he muttered in disbelief, though it sounded more like moo thanks to his round cheeks. He stood up, which in his case meant slowly unfolding his marshmallow body into an awkward waddle, and began the investigation. Step 1. Interrogate the food dispenser. He sauntered over to the automatic machine and gave it a death glare. The machine beeped innocently. He slapped it beeped again, and nothing came out. He slapped it harder. Still nothing. He sniffed it like a professional detective. Still nothing. But the faint scent of betrayal. Meow, he grumbled. This time louder, and with a hint of dramatic flair. Step 2. Search the premises. He marched, or rather jiggled, across the kitchen floor like a furry tank. He poked his head into the cabinet. Empty. He climbed on the counter with a heroic grunt and knocked over a flower vase in the process strictly for dramatic effect. Nothing but a loaf of stale bread and a suspiciously dusty banana, when he noticed something odd. Paw prints. Tiny ones. Not his humans. They were muddy and led from the back door, all the way to the snack bowl. He squinted. He sniffed. Definitely not his. He whipped his head around and stared at the door, slightly ajar. An intruder. Someone had broken in and stolen his snacks. This wasn't just a snack emergency anymore. This was war. He leaped from the counter, a jump that barely lifted him off the ground, but in his mind, looked like a majestic superhero, landing and charged toward the door, his belly bouncing in rhythm with his fury. The backyard loomed before him like a wild, untamed jungle. Birds cackled in the trees. The wind rustled the grass in eerie patterns. Somewhere, a dog barked, probably just being dramatic. Dogs usually were. Big Fat Cat stepped outside with the grace of a soggy muffin and scanned the yard. The pop continued across the porch, down the stairs, and into the garden. He narrowed his eyes. Meow, he muttered, which now sounded like challenge accepted. His tail swished dramatically. The wind caught his fur just right. In his mind, there was an epic soundtrack playing. In reality, a leaf blew into his face, and he sneezed. Still, he marched on. Step 3. Identify the culprit. As he reached the garden, he heard rustling in the bushes. He froze, crouched low. His belly made a squish noise against the dirt, but he ignored it. Suddenly WAP. A pine cone smacked him on the head. He looked up. A squirrel. Not just any squirrel. A slick, wiry-tailed nut-munching rascal with a sideways cap made of leaves and a gold acorn necklace. He was chewing something loudly. Big Fat Cat narrowed his eyes. The squirrel winked. You looking for something, Chubs? The squirrel said in a voice that screamed neighborhood troublemaker. Big Fat Cat didn't speak squirrel, but the sass was universal. He puffed out his chest and stepped closer. The squirrel chuckled. If it's snacks, you're missing. You're late to the party. Somebody's been raiding pantries all over the block. Big Fat Cat tilted his head. Follow the paw prints, the squirrel said, tossing a peanut at him like a mic drop. But be warned, not all snacks are taken. By accident. Then he disappeared in a blur of tail and attitude. Big Fat Cat stood there for a moment. Peanut stuck on his head, trying to process what just happened. Someone was stealing snacks across the neighborhood. A serial snack snatcher. This was bigger than he thought. He looked down. The muddy paw prints continued. Toward the far fence, he had a choice. Go back inside and meow dramatically until his human refilled the bowl. Or venture beyond the fence, into the wild unknown. He looked back at the empty bowl, then forward toward the fence. A breeze blew through his whiskers and Big Fat Orange Cat made his decision. He waddled forward, tail high, heart full of vengeance, and belly rumbling louder than a storm cloud. The great snack quest had begun. Big Fat Cat stood at the edge of the fence like an explorer staring into an uncharted realm. Behind him, the familiar smells of home and laundry detergent. Ahead of him, mystery, danger, and possibly snack crumbs. He licked his lips, not for dramatic effect, but because a crushed cheese puff was stuck to his whisker. The fence was tall for a cat shaped like a beanbag chair, but Big Fat Cat was determined. He coiled his legs, gathered every ounce of heroic fluff he had, and leaped. He made it halfway. Then gravity remembered who he was and tugged politely. Thumped, he landed in a flower pot, dirt spilling everywhere like nature's confetti. A butterfly landed on his nose. He tried to look noble, but his left paw was stuck in the begonias. Meow, he muttered, low and ominous. The butterfly took off, probably sensing the weight of justice in the air. On the second try, with the help of an old rake and a surprisingly springy garden hose, Big Fat Cat soared well, wobbled over the fence and into the jungle beyond. Technically, it was just his neighbor's backyard, but to him, it was a wild, untamed land filled with strange noises, tall grass, and suspiciously aggressive lawn gnomes. He landed with a squish in a patch of mud and shook his fur like a soggy lion. The paw prints were still there, clear, muddy, and strangely tiny. He followed them cautiously, his ears twitching at every leaf rustle and squirrel sneeze. Suddenly, the grass ahead rustled. He froze. Out of the thicket stepped a pigeon, but not just any pigeon. This one wore goggles. Yes, goggles. The kind you'd wear while welding tiny airplane wings or diving into a cereal box for treasure. He had a serious hunch in his neck, a tattered scarf, and eyes that screamed, "I've seen things, man." The pigeon stopped, looked at Big Fat Cat, and squawked, "Turn back. It's not safe here. They'll find you." Big Fat Cat tilted his head. "They see everything," the pigeon continued, whispering now. "The snack shadows. They move in the dark. You think you're chasing them, but they're chasing you." Big Fat Cat blinked slowly. The pigeon stepped closer, whispered, "Did you hear that?" and immediately took off, flapping wildly, crashing into a clothesline and spiraling into a nearby bush. Big Fat Cat stared at the bush. The bush shook, then went silent. O-K. He shook off the weirdness and continued deeper. The paw prints led through a tiny hole in a wooden fence. He squeezed through it, which involved a bit of strategic belly flattening and one loud fart, and emerged into what looked like the ruins of an old sandbox kingdom. Broken plastic castles, abandoned shovels, a plastic crab missing one eye, and in the middle of it all, sitting cross-legged on a deflated kiddie pool, was a raccoon. Not just any raccoon, a raccoon in a silk bathrobe. He was sipping from a teacup and humming to himself while tossing grapes into the air and catching them in his mouth. Big Fat Cat took a cautious step forward. The raccoon didn't. "Look up, Sor. You're the one with the missing snacks." Big Fat Cat's eyes widened. "Relax, Whiskers," said the raccoon, still not looking. "I'm not the thief. I'm just the informant." Big Fat Cat crept closer. The raccoon finally looked up. His eyes were sharp, calculating like he'd done taxes in the dark. "Name's Momo," he said. "Retired ninja. Full-time philosopher. Part-time snack broker." Big Fat Cat blinked. Momo smirked. "I know who took your treats. I've been watching the whole thing unfold. But knowledge isn't free, football." Big Fat Cat squinted. His tail curled. "Bring me one thing," said Momo, standing dramatically. "A single golden pretzel from the snack nest." Big Fat Cat's ears perked. "The snack nest," Momo said, whispering now, "is a secret stash hidden by the birds. Top of the cherry tree, heavily guarded, almost impossible to reach." Big Fat Cat looked at the tree. It was tall, very tall. Climbing it would be not ideal. But he had no choice. He turned and waddled off, determination in every bouncy step. Cherry tree loomed like a green skyscraper. Birds chirped angrily from the top. A squirrel in a beret stared at him from the first branch like he was guarding a sacred temple. Big Fat Cat looked up, then down at his stubby paws, then up again, and then he charged. He scrambled up the trunk like a fluffy cannonball trying to defy physics. The birds shrieked. The squirrel screamed, "Intruder." A feather flew into his mouth. He gagged and kept climbing. Branch by branch, paw by paw, he rose. Until finally, he saw it. The snack nest. A glorious pile of stolen treasures, crackers, chips, popcorn, one jelly bean, and in the center, a golden pretzel. His belly growled. He reached out. "Halt!" shouted a tiny parrot with a whistle and a badge made of cereal box foil. Big Fat Cat froze. "This snack vault is under feathered jurisdiction," the parrot declared. Big Fat Cat meowed with the desperation of a snackless soul. The parrot blinked. Desperate eyes. "I'll allow it." And just like that, the pretzel was his. Triumphant, exhausted, and coated in bark. Big Fat Cat climbed down the tree like a hero returning from war with snack, dust in his fur and glory in his heart. He delivered the pretzel to Momo, who took it solemnly. "A deal is a deal," Momo said, then pointed toward the north fence. That's where they went, beyond the compost heap, into the hidden hollow. Big Fat Cat looked in the direction. More paw prints, more mystery, but also the answer to the great snack disappearance. Without a word, he turned and began his march. As the wind picked up and the raccoon disappeared into the shadows, a storm was coming, and in the middle of it, one very determined, very round cat. The path to the hidden hollow wasn't so much a path as it was a chaotic labyrinth of muddy footprints, suspicious smells, and leaves that got stuck to Big Fat Cat's fur like sticky guilt. He trudged forward, belly swaying with each determined step. the stolen pretzel quest still fresh in his mind, and the taste of vengeance fresher on his tongue. Ahead, a crumbling wooden archway came into view, twisted vines crawling over it like sleepy snakes. A faded sign hung crooked from the top, carved in squirrel runes that Big Fat Cat couldn't read, but it smelled like peanut butter and betrayal. He passed under the arch, and instantly, everything went quiet. No birds, no breeze, just the sound of his own heavy breathing and the occasional squish from his slightly soggy paw. Then he saw them. Dozens, maybe hundreds, off eyes, blinking in the shadows, glowing, watching, judging. A voice boomed from the darkness. State your business, furball. Big Fat Cat arched his back and meowed confidently, which echoed like an opera singer's opening note in a creepy cave. A figure stepped forward. A large, fluffy, majestic cat with a scar over one eye, and a tuna can lid hanging from her neck like a medal. I am Madame Whiskerstein, she declared, founder of the Secret Snack Society. What brings a house pet like you to our underground empire? Big Fat Cat took a step forward. He didn't need to speak. His face said it all. Rage, hunger, determination, and the kind of sadness only an empty snack bowl could cause. Whiskerstein squinted. Ah, the great snack disappearance. Whispers spread among the hidden crowd. Raccoons, ferrets, a goose and a monocle, all gathered under one unspoken code. Snack first, questions later. Madame, Whiskerstein led him deeper into the hollow. Torches lit up along the walls. Actually, they were just glow sticks poked into marshmallows. But still dramatic, they reached the grand table. A giant upside-down wheelbarrow covered in empty chip bags and glittery fish bones. She gestured for Big Fat Cat to sit. Listen carefully, she said. We didn't steal your snacks, but we know who did. Big Fat Cat leaned in. Whiskerstein flicked her tail toward a crooked map drawn in ketchup on a piece of cardboard. There's a new force in town, a snack hoarder. Operates from the old shed behind the garage graveyard, goes by the name, the Collector. Gasps. The Collector, said a weasel with a lollipop sword. I thought he was just a myth. Oh, he's real, Madame Whiskerstein said, grimly. And dangerous. No snack is safe. He doesn't just eat, he stores hoards. Catalogs them, labels them by Big Fat Cat's fur bristled. The Collector has minions, she continued. Birds, bugs, and worst of all, the Tupperware twins. From the shadows, a possum in a hoodie whispered, no one escapes the Tupperware twins. Whiskerstein stepped close. But you're different. You're not just snack hungry, you're Fat Cat stood up. His belly jiggled like a motivational drumbeat. We'll help you, she said, handing him a headband made of bacon strips. But it won't be easy. With the entire Secret Snack Society behind him, Big Fat Cat marched to the old shed like a furry general. Squirrels on skateboards zipped ahead. Parrots flew recon. A skunk rolled in a barrel for no apparent reason. They reached the garage graveyard. Rusted lawnmowers, abandoned toolboxes, a trampoline that creaked ominously. At the far end stood a crooked shed covered in vines and locked with a chain made of spaghetti noodles hardened by sun. This is it, whispered Whiskerstein. The Collector's lair. They surrounded the shed. Then, like clockwork, the door creaked open. Out stepped a thin, twitchy chipmunk in a lab coat and tiny glasses. He carried a clipboard and a walkie-talkie that squawked. Sector 5. Twinkies secured. He froze when he saw them. The chipmunk screamed, intruder, and darted back inside. Big Fat Cat didn't wait. He barreled through the shed door like a soft orange wrecking ball. Inside was madness. Shelves. Endless shelves stacked with snack boxes labeled crunchy, crumbly, squishy, stolen from wrecks. Jars of pickles, tins of sardines, one ancient Twix bar sealed in a block of ice, and in the center, sitting atop a throne made of cereal boxes, the Collector. He was a ferret, tall, lean, with a monocle and a smirk that could curdle milk. I've been expecting you, he said coolly, swirling a bottle of soy sauce like a glass of wine. Big Fat Cat hissed. You think you're the first? The Collector laughed. So many have come for their snacks. None have left with them. Suddenly, bang, the Tupperware twins dropped from the ceiling. Identical cats, wearing sunglasses and matching no crumbs allowed t-shirts, each holding airtight containers like weapons. A standoff. Big Fat Cat narrowed his eyes. The Collector snapped his claws. Take him. But before the twins could smush, the Secret Snack Society burst through the walls. Rats swinging from garden hoses, ducks quacking war cries. That same skunk barrel rolled into a snack shelf, sending cheddar crackers flying. Chaos. Big Fat Cat launched himself toward the Collector, not with speed, not with grace, but with pure chunky momentum. He tackled the ferret off the throne, sending them both crashing into a tower of granola bars. The Collector reached for the soy sauce. Big Fat Cat batted it away with a mighty paw slap that echoed through time. In the end, it was no contest. Big Fat Cat stood atop the fallen Collector, crumbs raining down like confetti. The Tupperware twins surrendered and offered to become sandwich holders instead. The Secret Snack Society erupted in cheers, and just like that, the stolen snacks were returned. Big Fat Cat filled a bag with everything his heart desired. Tuna chips, shrimp puffs, even that suspicious Twix bar. As the sun rose behind him, he waddled home with glory in his step and peanut butter on his chin. He returned to his kitchen, gently poured the snacks into his bowl, sat down, and promptly fell asleep face first in it, just as had been served. With snacks on the side.